Hey, welcome back to another part of my tutorial about Walkmeshes. And this time we'll be yapping about all the little files involved with making your area work in the game. Now, what are these other files? We have the .vis file, the visibility file, the lit file, and that's the layout. And then we have these three, and these make up a module file. You have the .r, the .git, and the .info. Now, these three lads are involved, or I would say are pretty important for your area. Uh, they, well, if you want enemies, triggers, placeables, crates, treasures to be found, whatever you have in a module file, you have to do it in one of these three, and they will make it happen. I will only touch them briefly because there are only a few things we have to set up that have to do with your actual model. The rest is what happens in your model, and I'm not the best expert in that. I would say just check out the other tutorials on HoloOne Laboratories and you'll find more information about them and what you can do with them. What's up with these two? Well, the layout file, just to show you what we'll be yapping about, that's actually my Caravan model. We'll ignore these messages, they are not important for us. Voila. And this big hopping model is what we'll be setting up to work in the game. It's one of my Caravan models, it's the Canyon, and it's made up, in fact, of about 10 separate parts. This is my master file, and this was the file I used to make all my little parts, just like I showed in my previous tutorial bit. Just to show off one of the parts, so let's see, export parts. You can see I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and if we pick D, part D is made of little water ponds, a waterfall, a small open area, and that's it. That's part D. Now, how does the game know I have 10 parts? Well, that's the layout file. And this is what's included in the layout file. In fact, it's easier, haha, to have it in your notepad. I just love Notepad. It's clean and it's no fuss program, just text. Well, what does the layout file tells the game? File dependency and such. I just give it the name of my area. That's KOQ200 or Caravan Quanon 200 .max. It's not really that important. In fact, I copied the content of this layout file from another original game layout file, and I just adjusted and tweaked it a bit to my own needs. The real important bit of the layout file is the room count, and it's at 10. That means my area model is made of 10 parts. And then you have the list of each model part. So you have KOQ-A, KOQ-B, KOQ-C, and down the list to N. And then, just after each name, you have the position of, well, you could say it's a pivot point, the origin of each model part. Now, the origin is actually the place of the Aurora base. So, I've made my life easy and I've placed each Aurora base of each model part at the dead center of max. 0, 0, 0. else you would have to remember and look it up again in Max where you've placed your Aurora base. And as you see here, it's hardly visible, but off to the right at 00 is the Aurora base of part D. It's not at the center of the model itself, no, it's actually quite out of place, and it's hovering right here, and there is the model. Unlike that, I don't have to change the coordinates or think like, ooh, where's the floating point and all that jazz. It's just 000 for each part, and that also makes sure the bolt meshes are in the correct place. These other funny track count and obstacle count and door count, well, in fact, I have no idea what they are about. I don't have them in my areas, so I leave that alone, and then it's just the last line done layout. And that's everything you need in the layout file. You have to say how many rooms you have to list the names of the rooms you have, and where they will be positioned, where the Aurora base is positioned. Now, if you do what I do, and you place the Aurora base at the center at 000, then it's just all zeros. Ha! Easy peasy. Next up is the Ves file, and I'll just have to do something silly, and somehow my Windows has changed the file thingy. Ugh, I hate that. I'm not sure why he goes to the other program. Ah, voilà. And now this is a bit more involved and a bigger wall of text. What we have here is the list of my rooms I have. So I have 10 rooms. But the Ves file says if I'm standing in a room or part number A, what can I see? What is visible if I'm standing there? Well, I can only see some of room B and room H. I've checked that out in the game. I had to do some test runs actually to figure out what was visible and what was needed to be seen. And actually, if I'm hanging around at the starting position of my area, I can only see bits and pieces of 2 other rooms I've made. So you have to say I'm standing in room KOQ200A, and I can only see 2 other rooms, and then you list the 2 other things you can see. If I am in B, in part B of my area, I can see 4 other sections. I can see room A, C, E, and H. As you can see, H keeps on coming back. That's my skybox. So if you, my sky is actually a separate part that has a really tiny weeny bit of Walkmesh that's totally out of place, and you can never reach that, well, unless you have a cheat code and you know the right coordinates. You could stand there, but then you would see a lot of, well, you would see my area model, I think. Well, it's not important. I'm babbling about, so ignore. Part A H is just my skybox. Well, and the list goes on. If I'm in part C, I can see A, B, E. If I am in D, I can see A, B. If I am in E, and E is one of the open places, and you can see I have a lot of stuff I can see. Actually, 6 other rooms or 6 other parts of the model I can see. So if I go back to my 3ds Max and I just open up my supermodel,